Sorry, I got carried away with the videos. I don't know what I was doing. Oh, another win. 5 unbeaten in a row. 4 from 5. Absolutely loving life. I'm just happy to be saying the words loving life again. Crazy how things change so quickly, isn't it? Days later, after the end of the world had seemingly happened with a draw against Crystal Palace, has now been rectified with a victory against Newcastle. We're going to talk about it in the chat box with you guys. We're going to get all of your thoughts and questions and, of course, react to the main thoughts and feelings of our manager when those comments come through. So let's crack on with things like we always do. Hello and welcome to the Gooner Talk, back again with you guys for another show, for another episode of our Raw Reaction series where we react to the latest Arsenal news, matches, transfers, etc., etc. Just freaked the whole chat box out when I was starting the show. I was pressing buttons like crazy. Oh, dearie me, how wonderful. Flying fish in the building. Let's get some flying fish emojis flying about in that chat box, celebrating a victory. That's what they're there for. Flying fish crew, flying fish folk. How many times? How can we say these words so many different ways? Suraj has joined us as a member purely for the pleasure that he can now use the flying fish in the chat box. Let's get those flying about, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us as a member, mate. You're an absolute legend. Let's crack on with today's show and talk about what is just a nice victory, isn't it? It's just a nice, solid win. I mean, when you look at that first half, it's very easy to go, yeah, it was pretty boring. Not much really happened. But what I actually look at that first half, having won the game with the benefit of hindsight, we controlled it very, very comfortably. We didn't really look like we were under threat whatsoever. Leno barely had to do a thing all game, which is nice. Really nice that is the case for him. The defence didn't have to do much whatsoever. Very different to the Palace game, of course. And I think there's a couple of performances from people that are the reasons as to why that happened specifically. Second half comes around and we needed a goal as soon as possible, and we got that through Aubameyang and the man who played that pass. Now, I remember sitting here and telling people Thomas Partey, who I've not been able to really get excited about much because he hasn't played, because he's been so injured for most of the season that we've just not seen him. But Thomas Partey, the pass to Aubameyang is just sublime. And then our Gabonese forward, who everyone's doubted, including myself, for quite a while now. And I was even texting in our WhatsApp group, like, yeah, you know that Lacazette's going to get brought off instead of Aubameyang for Martinelli when we gradually need a goal. And it must have been just seconds later that Aubameyang went and scored, which is always the way. Always the way. So I was kind of glad that I wasn't, that Hugh and I weren't on today, because I would have been saying some stuff about Aubameyang needing to come off right before he scored. Let's jump into the chat box and get your thoughts in there. I'm going to be tactical, I think. If you're in the Discord server, I was getting pelters today for a certain Portuguese man's performance. Lewis says, cracked open a Stella and having a TGT party time. Imagine if we had this lad fit for the whole season. Yeah, let's use the party emojis. Party time, people. What's Football says, Tom, why do you think Arteta took Aubameyang off? He was on a hat-trick, would have done him the world of good. I think it was just a case of rotation and rest. Aubameyang's played a lot of football. You can protect him. We need him for the Southampton fixture in the FA Cup on the weekend. We need him for that. So I'm absolutely fine with him taking him off. Actually, if anything, it goes to show that we can take him off. And we've been asking that question for quite a while. Holding was very good today, says Damien. He didn't have to do too much, but when he was called upon, he was very, very good. Wilson says, I cannot understand why people were not confident of Arsenal not beating Newcastle. It was an absolute joke. I mean, we have been pretty poor for most of the season, Wilson. So I think maybe we should cut them a little bit of slack. A little bit of slack. E-commerce says, who said Partey was not an attacking outlet? We talked about this on the show. We talked about how he adds creativity by progressing the play up the field, by recovering possession. And he was perfect. Perfect with that. Porky Pork says, the Arsenal is in safe hands with the Hale End boys. A few unsung heroes in that match. Xhaka again. Granit Xhaka again. And this is one of those performances where people can't even use the rhetoric of, oh, he was covering up his own mistakes. Granit Xhaka was excellent. His tackling was excellent. His passing was excellent. The way he progressed the ball forwards was excellent. There wasn't a criticism I had of Granit Xhaka in the entire game. He worked with Partey. How many people in that preview show were talking about, I'm not sure whether they can work together. They haven't really done it when they've played together. That partnership can work. That partnership, it works like it did today, is absolutely perfect. It's what we need. It's great. Let's get some more of your comments. Dave says, delighted. Aubameyang got back on the score sheet. Still wasn't at the top of his game, but hopefully that is the trigger for him to get back to his best. Nothing like a couple of goals to boost your ego. Tulip says, Xhaka and Partey controlled the midfield brilliantly. Emile Smith-Rowe ran his socks off. Might be the one who ran the most. Good 3 points. We are so lucky to have Emile Smith-Rowe in this team. We are so lucky that he is our man and he is our player, because he is going to be a star. He is going to be such a player for us in the near future when he really does gradually get to the stage where he can become a senior figure, playing consistently and develop the areas of his game that need improving. That final ball, sometimes it's great, like we saw with the assist, and sometimes with the chance to set up Aubameyang towards the end of the game, it's not as on it, and sometimes he needs to learn to add that power into his stride. It's actually more composed in the tighter spaces, and when he's hitting on the counter, that's when he needs to be kind of more protagonistic, I think, and especially a little bit more determined with the weight of the pass he puts on the end of it. But he's improving and he's developing, and he's absolutely fantastic. Kingsley says, Xhaka was good today, but he's still too slow. Oh, I'm done with this negativity. Get your negativity out of here, son. What are you talking about? Oh, dearie me. Lewis says, Tom, get an Emile Smith-Rowe emoji in fast. It is in the works. Don't you worry, son. It is getting there. We are doing it. Alex says, I think people need to relax on saying that we should be giving Emile Smith-Rowe the number 10. Let the man mature in his own time without added pressure. We don't know if Arsenal are going to make any signings. We don't know if anyone's going to come in the summer. Hold the number 10 shirt. Hold it. Let it be earned. Don't just jump on the next guy. And give him that number 10 shirt straight away. It has got to be earned. It has got to be deserved. And we need to, wait. Okay. Right. I've waited long enough. I've waited. I've gone 6 minutes and 33 seconds without saying the words that I know a lot of people want me to say. Hold on. Yeah, Cedric was all right. Yeah, Cedric was okay. He done all right. Okay. There you go. Are you happy? I've said it. I did it. I said it. Okay. I said it. He was okay. He was all right. Oh God. I always say that I am always the person to be very, very happy to be proved wrong. I'm very happy. No, I'm not. I hate it. But I am happy to be proved wrong in this game. I'm happy to say it that Cedric played well. And it was a great assist. Very fortunate in the end to keep the ball in play. Did really well. Chat box is so funny. Oh, dearie me. Yeah, no, fair play to the lads. I mean, didn't have to defend anywhere near as much as Bellerin did in the other game. Had to get that one in there. But in going into the final third, he was much, much better than Bellerin was last game. Much, much better. He earned the start for the next game. Like, you don't drop him. You don't. If you were rotating, if Arteta was selecting Cedric for this game to rotate and give Bellerin a rest, I'm sorry, Bellerin, but Cedric earned his spot this game and has to play in the next one. Will he? I'm not so sure. I don't know if he would have done enough to convince Arteta. For me, though, if you've played well, you earn that spot, you keep that place, and you play again. Obviously, playing against his former club as well, if that's extra motivation, fingers crossed. But I think you have to pay him in the next one. Because kind of what kind of message is that sending out if a player plays well and then doesn't play in the next one? I think it's completely fair for me and you guys in the chat to say he has to probably start the next one, because it would be unfair. It would not be fair. Prince says you sounded in so much pain giving Cedric credit. It is hard because I have criticised the signing of Cedric. I still look at the signing and think I'm not sure about that. But humble pie, as Anthony says there, is a dish that I am happy to gorge on. I'm happy to eat my humble pie, because generally when I eat humble pie, it means that Arsenal are doing well. Actually, no, that's not true, because I'm quite a positive person. So when I actually am wrong, it's usually Arsenal doing badly. So this is quite new. This is a new experience for me. I'm not used to being proved wrong. I don't think I've been proved wrong yet. I don't think we've seen enough for me to categorically say that we should be playing Cedric week in, week out over Bellerin. But he deserves the next one. He deserves the next game. Look, chat box, you're doing me in now, guys. This is like a slaughter. Think of the children. Don't stop kicking a man while he's down. This is horrific. Absolutely beating me up in the chat box. Jesus Christ, give Cedric a new contract. Says don't look. Fabrizio says, I think that's a good thing for Bellerin too if he gets a longer rest. Yeah, that is true. I mean, you want to rest a superior right back. I think that's the MYT says Cedric was okay, not great, nevertheless better than Bellerin. For goodness sake. Juan says, Tom, without the assist, he would have got the praises, but he was good, not the best, but good. I thought he was still okay without the assist, to be honest. I thought his crosses were quite good. I thought he offered more in the final third than Bellerin did in the previous game. But he wasn't really tested defensively, whereas Bellerin certainly was against Palace. But Bellerin didn't really offer anything, as I've said, going in the other direction against Palace. So Victor says, give Cedric the 10. Lord says, another clean sheet. This is another point I want to get onto. This is our first time of recording 5 clean sheets in a row for 11 years. 11 years since Arsenal recorded 5 clean sheets in a row. These are the records that I want to hear. These are the statistics that I want to see coming out. These are the benchmarks that Arsenal need to be setting. And if you've ever been unconvinced that Arteta has not improved Arsenal in any way, Arteta has improved us defensively. He has improved us to no end defensively. It's not a debate anymore. It's not something that in the final third, I think that we've regressed, and it's something that we're gradually getting back. The final third, the creativity, the flow, the pace. We're seeing glimpses of that we did. And we have gone backwards in the final third, and we are gradually improving in the final third again. But in defence, we have improved to no end. Utterly solid. We're solid. We're really difficult to beat. We're really difficult to beat now. And that is a really, really key part of our game. Even against Palace last week, that Palace game, whilst it frustrated the hell out of a lot of people because we weren't able to score and we couldn't get the win, we did well defensively in that game. And there are times in previous seasons where we would have lost that game. We really would have lost that game because we would have been hit on the break. We wouldn't have been able to deal with Zaha. Someone would have made a stupid challenge, but we didn't. And we've performed really well defensively. Holding has just been utterly great. If there's one player that you want to turn around and say that since signing his new contract has been solid, he's one of those players. He's been really, really good. So give that guy credit where it's due. David Luiz was also good. Like I was a bit gutted to not see Gabriel start, but David Luiz was good. I expect Gabriel probably start against Southampton. It's an FA Cup game. There's a chance to rotate again. He's up to match sharpness and fitness. But yeah, no, really, really good. Really, really good defensively. Once again, we're going to have to get a holding emoji. It's going to have to happen. We need a Preston Cannavaro emoji. Holdinho, whatever you want to call him. He was absolutely fantastic. Vinny says, if you were to tell us this time last year we would be a solid at the back in the new year, you would laugh. And you probably would. But you say that if we were to tell us this time last year, or maybe if you were to tell us this time 2 years ago under Unai Emery, but under Arteta, things have looked better. Really, really looks much, much better. Holdinho says Noah Wheeler. Pedro says Mainsley not in the squad. If fit, offers on the table, maybe. Would we miss him? I don't think we did miss him. All I would say is that his lack of inclusion does go to show you that Cedric is considered the number 2 right back. That is for sure. And Mainsley is certainly our kind of utility man, number 2 left back if Tierney's not fit. But Cedric is certainly our... I mean, after that performance against Crystal Palace, arguably Saka now may be our number 2 left back, which I know sounds strange, but that is where Saka went to after we took off Mainsley against Crystal Palace. Maybe that is where we're looking at. And maybe that's kind of for the rest of the season. If Tierney gets injured, maybe Arteta feels that we've kind of got enough up top for Saka to go into left back as an attacking left back, as Tierney is, and for us to use Aubameyang, Partey, Pepe, Martinelli, Lacazette, all of these guys, that we've got enough depth up top that maybe he's thinking about that as an option until the summer. So, yeah. Did Cedric get bonus 3 in FPL? No way did he get... No, there's no chance. Did he really get... Oh, my God. Oh, my God. As if that's a joke. What the hell? Where's my Smith Rowe points? Oh, my days. That is hilarious. As if Cedric got... Oh, my Lord. Oh, my God. As if he got 3 bonus points. That's crazy. Oh, my days. Fantasy are screwing me over so bad. I had Tierney and Smith Rowe in, though, so I'm happy. I'm happy with that. I got 12 points, I think, off those guys. So buzzing with that. But that's a joke. That is a joke. Oh, dearie me. Alexandra says, I'd rather have Pepe as a left back than Saka. Wow. T-Bone Pest says, Cedric triple captain in the next game. Oh, man. Imagine that. Cedric is GOAT, says Tom. I'm going to get forced into a Cedric emoji for the members. This is what it's going to be. Well, I think we've got... Right, we need to come up with a title for the show, and it's probably going to have to be something to do with Cedric, isn't it? So get your thinking caps on, people. Who is top of your fantasy league? I can check for you, Liam, if you like. But you're not actually in our fantasy league, so you'll have to join, mate. And maybe you'll be near the top, son. But you'll have to join, mate. Sam says we need to go in for a left back now. If we are looking at Saka as our number 2, that is not sustainable. I agree with you. I don't think it is sustainable. But at the same time, there might not be the players out there that we can get. Fullbacks in general and kind of the backup options for a short-term deal in January are just not really available right now. Feel free to throw some names in, but it's very difficult to see someone wanting to come in on a 6-month deal. Ironically, there's one available in Danny Rose, but you're never going to go out and get him from Spurs. I wouldn't do that anyway. But you're looking around at who could do that job, and yeah, it's just not worth doing, to be honest. Rydog says, how is it not sustainable? He plays left wing back for England. Left wing back and left back in a back four is 2 very, very different things, and we learned that with Mainsley playing there. I was wrong about Cedric featuring TGT Tom. Oh, dearie me. Augustinson from Werder can be a decent left back. You've just seen him get a special card on FIFA and now suddenly think he's good. I bet, Alan, you've barely ever seen him. I might be wrong. But all of a sudden, he's popping up all over my socials just because he got a special card in FIFA. That is it. That's the only reason. I'd be interested to do some more research on it to find out if he's actually any good, but it's just funny. I saw it with Tonali last season. Tonali got like a special card in FIFA, and all of a sudden, everyone was calling for Tonali to come to Arsenal. It's just stupid how FIFA's so linked with football now. Hamid says, Tom, do you think Arteta won the dressing room? I don't think he ever lost it, mate, if I'm very honest. I think there's plenty of characters in that dressing room that never, ever doubted Arteta, to be honest. The likes of Tierney, etc. I think there are some, and I think they're out the door, to be honest. I think we're seeing those players getting moved on, and it's great to see that. Brund says, I probably pronounced that wrong. Says, Willian, discuss, please, Tom. I'm done. I mean, he barely did any. He wasn't really on the pitch for very long. It's not really one of those things you can really say any more than we've already said on Willian, to be honest. Anthony Robinson, bar the red card from Fulham once they go down, is a possibility. He's a very rash player. I've seen quite a few of his big challenges. He got a red card, I think it was last season as well, for a mad tackle, but he's still a decent left back. I'm a little bit gutted that Spurs ended up getting Sessegnon from Fulham, actually. But yeah, no, not a bad shout, mate. Not a bad shout whatsoever. Bond says, a very nice pickup after being a bit down about Ozil. Yeah, I mean, if you were down about Ozil, I'm sorry. He's gone. We can move on. Gary, this is an interesting thing, actually. And actually, we'll get it on the screen just in case people haven't seen it. It's probably worth having a little discussion about. Let me just zoom in and then share my screen with you guys so you can see it. Boom, 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 boom. Here we go. This is it. Mustafi tweeted, I'd love to know your thoughts too. Give me kind of your reaction. That's hilarious. Don't spam my chat. You can stay with that name, but you don't spam my chat. Mustafi said, bro, you have been the most unselfish player on and off the pitch I have ever shared the dressing room with. You will always be remembered as the assist king. Unfortunately, we as a team haven't been able to assist you when you needed us the most. All the best. Yeah, that's just, I mean, it's a really, if this came from a player that was like, had many years left on his deal or that was playing week in, week out, it would surprise me. But, I mean, when you look at kind of what ultimately is going on with Mustafi and the fact that he's going to be leaving in 6 months, less than that now, and he's very close with Ozil. I'm not surprised. Is it the right thing to do? I mean, you could, I'd be surprised if not many other, if not many people said bye with it publicly within the Arsenal group. It'll be interesting to see who doesn't publicly, but they have said their goodbyes personally. But I think it's very. I just don't really like it, to be honest. And Mustafi, was he in the squad today? I don't know if Mustafi was even in the squad today. So we had Gabriel on the bench, so I don't know why we would have needed 2 centre-backs. Let me just check to see if he actually was in the squad. I tweeted out the lineup. So if you do follow us over at the Gooner Talk TV. Mustafi was not on the bench. So we had Bellerin, Gabriel, and they were the only defenders there. So I'd be surprised to see Mustafi play. Maybe he'll play against Southampton. I doubt it. But there's no need for him to be in the squads. That's just a really, when he says we haven't been able to assist you when you needed us the most, whatever that is, like, I don't know what that really means. We can speculate about what it might mean, but is it anything? Like, I think we all kind of know what it means, but there's no point really, Rydog says, what do people want him to say? He means we means his teammates. Some people just love to create drama. Yeah. Mustafi was trying to riot or what, says Juan. Rancid says, Ozil paid, spelt wrong, Mustafi very well for this tweet. Sam says, this shows me more that it's just time to cut ties with Mustafi. This is a feel of an alternative agenda in this message. Porky Porks says, only place Mustafi should have been was on the plane with Ozil. Let's move forward. Need the past to go. Alex says Mustafi is just trying to secure that 4-year contract as advice captain at Fenerbahce. Matthew says unselfish on the pitch also translates to not taking the chance to score but passing the responsibility. I'm not sure about that. Dan says, Tom, check Emil Smith-Rowe's comments. What has Emil Smith-Rowe been saying? Let's have a check of that. Let me just find Emil Smith-Rowe. he saying? What's he saying? Where can I find them, Dan? Who's tweeting them? Who's tweeting them? Who is tweeting them? Sorry, I've gone really quiet. I'm just trying to find the tweets. Tell me, Dan. Someone in the chat, tell me where I can find them. Hilmi says, do you consider Ozil an Arsenal legend? No, I don't. That's not a personal thing. My association with the word legend is very difficult. I kind of discussed this on the show I did about Ozil leaving, not the one with the expert members, the one previously. So I'm not going to repeat myself, but if you want to see that, then go and watch that video. Football Daily are tweeting the Emil Smith Rowe comments. Okay, thank you for that. Football Daily, I've said, this is a big compliment to Arsene Wenger. He could have played in the old Arsenal teams. Wow, that was on. That's from Gary Neville about Emil Smith Rowe. For me to have a manager like Mikel who has played for the club gives me confidence. Lacazette gives me so much confidence. It is a dream to us. Emil Smith Rowe speaks about the experience he's had at Huddersfield and RB Leipzig and how good it is being one of those players. Emil Smith Rowe, we are so much stronger as a team, he says. And it's great. I can't obviously put up the full comments or show it to you because it would copyright. But yeah, no, it's great. It's absolutely fantastic. Alexandra Lawson, you absolute legend, signing up as a member. Enjoy your usage of the flying fish emoji in the chat. And if you are in fact joining up as an expert member, enjoy the Discord server. And I hope to see you in there very, very soon. Nodat Guna says, seems like ESR is a lot more comfortable linking up on the right, but that assist from the left side was primo. Absolutely fantastic stuff from him. Porky Pork says, don't start the Ozil legend debate. We would be here all week. Yes, let's not do that. let's chill with the legend talk. I don't even really want to get into an Ozil debate on today's show. It's kind of, we're moving on. We're moving on from that. We talked about that on the previous pod. We don't need to talk about it anymore. Iron Cub says, since the Chelsea game, Emil Smith Rowe is only second to Bruno Fernandes for chances created in open play in the Premier League, from with 10 for Emil Smith Rowe and 12 for Bruno. Wow, I mean, that's incredible, isn't it? It's just the impact that he's had is just insanely good. It's insanely mental. Tolu says, by the way, Arsenal have more consecutive clean sheets than any other team in the top 5 leagues. Just enjoy the joy of winning. Cheers. 100%, mate. Spot on. And I said it's after the first time we've had 5 clean sheets in a row for 11 years. Amazing. Dan said, love the way Emil Smith Rowe played all over the park, on the left, the right, and the middle. Brilliant stuff. He's just got this free role. Arteta's given him the complete freedom to play the best way he can. And you have to say, not only fair play to Emil Smith Rowe for doing that, but fair play to him and fair play to Arteta for giving a young kid not only a start, but the complete freedom to play his game and play just completely freely on the pitch. So when you see these salty people turn around saying, oh, he was forced into that selection, well, actually, tactically, when you look at the way Emil Smith Rowe is playing, if he was rigidly staying in that slot in behind the striker, you would be like, yeah, he's been told what to do and he's doing it. But Arteta has given him utter freedom to play the way he wants to play. And you just have to say, fair play to Emil Smith Rowe for smashing it, and fair play for Arteta to give him that free role. Kian says, feel like Smith Rowe plays better when with Saka and Bellerin on the right. Interesting, Kian, trying to get that Bellerin edge into the chat. Absolutely fantastic. Abodi says, why is no one talking about that? The 2 keepers with the most clean sheets is Leno and Martinez. This is weird because of Runnison. I don't know about the last bit, but I mean, they're 2 very good keepers, and we only could keep one of them, and I'm completely fine with keeping Leno, personally. Toby says, from now Arsenal, check out his stuff. Says, holding solid again today, really taking his opportunity. He was absolutely fantastic. It wasn't tested loads, but in what he did, I mean, there was a couple of passes for Holding. I don't know if you noticed this. Holding's kind of distribution has been something that's been criticised, quite rightly at times, but his distribution was good. Like, his passing was good. The playing the ball in behind was excellent. Really, really good from Holding. Ed says, just an observation, but modern creative players seem to float into the wide areas in order to drag in defenders and combine with other forwards. We've seen Kevin De Bruyne do it, and Emile Smith-Rowe seems to be doing this as well. Maybe it is something more modern. Maybe it is something that's being given to these guys. But I mean, KDB's been around for a long time. Has been doing it quite a lot. But that's what we call ESR, the Croydon De Bruyne. So it's good to see these comparisons come out. It's absolutely fantastic, mate. Mohammed, thank you so much for joining up as a new member. Enjoy your access to the exclusive content. I'm really trying to get out the exclusive content. I know I've been sleeping on that recently. It's just been with the January transfer window and with my new job, it's been crazy. But I'm really going to try and get around to some exclusive stuff before the end of the month. I know I've not been too on it with that side of things, but I have been providing you guys with the extra emoji stuff. And of course, the Discord server is popping off and our expert members are coming on the channel more, which is also great. So I hope you appreciate that. And apologies for sleeping on that a little bit. Tulip says, agree with you, Tom. Holdings distribution has been decent and is improving. Vinny says, our centre-backs were superb in the air and Partey did so. I feel like we've not given Partey enough credit this show. I think he's been fantastic. Let's hit the chat box up with some party time emojis, please. Sanyik says, have we turned the corner? How much credit should Arteta get? Was it by accident? I don't think anything if it was by accident, Sanyik, in terms of like over a period of time. We've now gone unbeaten in our last 5 games, winning 4 of those is a really great turnaround. It's happened because he's selected the likes of Smith-Rowe. He put Martinelli back in. He's getting more from Lacazette, which is great as well. Holding, getting that new contract within that is another boost. Getting players out by Edu, as I said, you got to give credit to Edu for moving players on. Which also I think is helping the environment of the club, getting more negativity out, keeping the positivity in. I just think it's ultimately it's kind of snowballing this effect, and that's absolutely fantastic. 5 clean sheets in a row. Let's go, says Pez Guna on Twitch. Thank you so much for tuning on Twitch, mate. I can feel a sneeze brewing. No, it's gone. It might come back in a bit. I don't really want to highlight his name, but it's making me laugh. Iron Cub says to add a little bit of negativity. Why? Why would you do that, Iron? Why would you do that? I don't get some of our set pieces. Yes, if we want to bring some criticisms, the set pieces weren't great. We'll do better. We can only get. Just think of it this way, mate. It can only go up from here. It can only go up from here. Thank you, Mohammed, for your kind words. And now you're a member. Don't sleep on the emojis, mate. Go wild. Go wild with the emojis in the chat. You should find them by clicking on the emoji button on the left-hand side of the chat, I believe, to use them. Hader says, it was another one of our members, says, really pleased with that performance. A lot more dynamic than the last game, but a big difference in quality was in the final third. Love seeing the HLM boys balling out. Absolute legend. Rydog says, you can only beat who you play. Clean sheets to boot. Exactly. You can only beat what is in front of you. Sam Trester says, absolutely nobody had a bad game. Partey gives me confidence in the middle. We're going to spend about 5 more minutes going through some of your comments. So if you've got something to say, guys, smash those comments into the chat box and drop a like on the video. You absolute legends. Abodi says, is a player like Basuma going to compete our midfield, or should we stick with Xhaka and Sabas? Well, Sabas is going, isn't he? He's on loan, so he's going to be going at the end of the season. Xhaka, keep it to the end of his contract. I'm not sure that we should be looking at renewing necessarily, unless, and it is a big unless, it is a huge unless Xhaka is unbelievably good up until the end of his deal. I mean, let me just check. He's 28, right? Xhaka's 28 years old. Confirm that, yes. Let me just check. When does his contract expire? His contract expires in 2023. So in 2023, and his birthday is September. So he turns 29 in September. So at the end of 2023 season, he will be 30, turning 31 just a month after the end of the transfer window, assuming it finishes in August. So do you give a turning 31-year-old Granit Xhaka a new contract? No, you don't. You don't, because we can't make the same mistakes that we've made. We just can't. We can't do it again, no matter how good he plays. No matter how good he plays. That you can keep asking questions, fella. I appreciate your name, but I'm not going to read it out because I'm just not into. I know I'm not going to throw shade. I'm not really going to throw shade. Alex says, have you looked at Tifo Arsenal's sensible transfers? Yes, I have, Alex. And I love the fact that they brought up Christensen, the Red Bull Salzburg right back. I thought it was a really, really good highlight of a possible player. I love that they talked about Basuma. I love that they talked about there were some other players in there. Who was it? I think they brought one up previously, or not on the last one, but they brought up Lorenzo Pellegrini on a previous one as well. That's quite a good shout too. Chris P says extending for a year and then selling when to. I mean, what's not bad about that, Chris? Okay, and this is not a bad thing. Is if you turn around to Xhaka and say we're going to extend your contract by a year, and then just go year by year. Just go. I'm not saying you don't offer Xhaka a 3-year deal. We need to stop offering older players long-term contracts. If no one's coming in for Xhaka and he's still playing well, it's not sensical not to offer him a 1-year extension. Just keep ticking over the 1 years, because it's like with the David Luiz situation. You just keep it ticking over until you are done with them. And I don't think that's necessarily a really bad thing. So there you go. Rodog says Xhaka is getting gas because Partey can pick up his scraps. I mean, Xhaka was excellent against Palace and Partey didn't play. So I don't necessarily think that's true at all. And if anything, Xhaka does need a defensive-minded midfielder next to him so that when the mistakes do happen, he's there. But what you get with him there is all of the good things from Xhaka, which we know if you don't have an agenda against him, you know the good things from Xhaka are really good. So that's what you should focus on. Arteta has quotes. Let's finish the show talking about Arteta's quotes. Are they out? Let me see. Wheatley. Come on, Wheatley. Don't let me down, son. Come on, Wheatley. Are you tweeting his quotes? You must be. Surely. Yes. Arteta on Partey. We've been missing Tommy. He has his presence, aura that makes him a special player for us. We can see the difference it makes. Football London, I think, are tweeting out the press conference as it goes live. Yes, okay. Let me share the screen with you and then we'll jump off. So let me just... stop screen. Share screen. Share the screen. Come on, share the screen. This is on Football London. Here we go. So Arteta on the win. Yes, I'm really pleased with the performance overall, collectively and individually. The team looked confident, solid, compact, and very clear about what we had to do. Arteta on Aubameyang, that's what he's done through his career. Mentally, you have to be really strong to do that. He's come back and contributed to the team, and I'm really pleased with him. And there's the quote on Partey that we just read out. So that's positive. That's all good. Really, really good. Good stuff there. Cookie Monsters, Torreira is an option next year. I think Torreira will probably go. We'll probably end up selling him in the summer. Sideways Bonobo says, Emil had a brilliant moment talking about playing with the Hale End boys at senior level being an absolute dream. Bodie says, what about the almighty cam position? I believe that we should get Ricky Puig, who's more of a centre mid, number 8-ish kind of player from Barcelona. I would get him if he was available as like a squad-ish player, but I don't think he comes in and starts. I think if you're going to spend money, it's got to be on someone that's going to start for the moment, not a risk on a player like Ricky Puig. Sanyik says, Tom, do you think we should put Mainsley back in the middle? We don't need to change anything, Sanyik. We don't need to change anything right now. The team that we played today is absolutely fine. Even Martinelli not starting is fine. Aubameyang's come back into form. It's worked sometimes for Arteta, playing players when maybe they should be dropped. And it hasn't worked sometimes, i.e. Willian, Lacazette at the start of the season. But it's worked with Aubameyang. So I'd keep this team exactly the same for Southampton in the Cup. No changes at all. Maybe Gabriel for David Luiz. That might be the only change that I would make. Other than that, I'm absolutely fine. And we should all be getting behind Shrewsbury tomorrow, guys. All becoming Shrewsbury fans. Got the Shrews. Go on the Shrews. Any more updates? Arteta on Ozil. This is interesting. Mesut is in Turkey. He's going through the medical that is to be completed. Mesut's quality will be missed. I mean, if it's going to be missed, why wasn't he in the squad? I mean, come on. Come on. Come on, Mikel. What's that? He's a very special player and a very big history in this football club. Just don't. Oh, see, this is and you know me. I back Arteta to the hilt, but it's words that don't need to be said because you don't believe them. Because if you believe them, he'd be in the squad. Maitland-Niles, there's been a lot of players who have been left out of the squad and have less minutes. It's about him, his performances, and how much he wants to be in the team. Wow. Okay, that's a little bit sordid. It's about him, his performances, and how much he wants to be in the team. I mean, the first part makes sense. You know what? Whenever I read these press conferences, like the only reason I read these press conferences, obviously, to find out what he's thinking. But when I read them, Arteta is so inexperienced regarding the media and speaking to the media. He doesn't have like when he came in, it was great to hear him talk about what he wanted, but under pressure and when he gets asked questions, Arteta in the media is on par with kind of Unai Emery in regards to kind of what he wants to say and what he should say and coming out and communicating that to us. And it comes out in a horrific way sometimes. I just don't think he's very well versed in talking to the media at all. And that leaves us in kind of these situations, unfortunately. Arteta still being asked about Ozil, and he will, and it'll get over that. He'll get over to getting asked about Ozil. Ozil's going. I'm expecting to be asked about that. He's just Rydog says that's what managers do, say words to the press. He's not going to bury the guy who clearly has friends on his team. Is diplomatic. I don't think he is diplomatic at all. I think, Rydog, you've got that completely wrong, because if he was diplomatic, he wouldn't have said the things he said about Pepe, he wouldn't have said the things he said about Partey, and he wouldn't have said what he just said there about Ainsley Maitland-Niles. So I don't think he's diplomatic at all. I think he tries to be, and I think sometimes he tries to protect his players in some instances, but then others, the kind of frustration in him about some results get the better of him. I don't think he's diplomatic at all. And it's not a criticism to say that, oh my God, he's a horrible person. It's just me saying he is very much kind of, what's the word? Inexperienced. He's not well versed, as I've already kind of said. And that means that he will gradually learn to be a coach in a press conference. He's just not had to do that. He's never had to do that. So there you go. Siraj says, Tom, you haven't praised Arteta enough for this amazing run. Siraj, if you are saying that I have not praised Arteta enough, I am happy. I'm a happy man, because I always think that I'm the one that's really going behind Arteta and backing him to the hill, and fair play. And that's why I always tweet out saying trust the process. Let's get some trust the process in the chat box, guys, because it's if I'm being criticised for not praising Arteta enough, and I'm not saying you're criticising me, Siraj, but that's great. That's great. So yeah. So there you go. Absolutely fantastic. I'm getting told I'm not praising him enough. That's great. Oh, I love that. I love that. That's going to round off the show today, guys. Thank you ever so much for tuning in, you absolute legends. Always appreciate your support and your time. Apologies there wasn't a watch along today. Hopefully there'll be one very, very soon. But yeah, I'll be back tomorrow for the podcast. Let me tell you who's on the podcast tomorrow, 8:30. Who has booked themselves on to the pod tomorrow. It's Drew and French that are coming on. I've got one more slot, which I'm going to fill. Don't you worry. So there is going to be, Drew and French are on tomorrow. So Drew's back. Woohoo! and French has not been on in a while. So that'll be fun to talk to those guys about today's game and look ahead and what it kind of means. So it's an absolute pleasure, as always, to talk to you guys. Cedric was great. Okay, look, I said it. Cedric was great. Thank you so much, guys, for being the legends you are. I really appreciate you could drop a like on the video. Subscribe to the channel if you're new around here. Those notifications turned on so you never miss a show. And join up as a member if you'd like to help support the channel. And if you'd like to join our Discord server, you can do so by becoming an expert member or a TGT ambassador. So thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, as always. And as always, up the Arsenal and cheerio.